Hi, I'm Max, and in this video we will talk about why Project Catalyst is essential for Cardano. But before we start, a bit more than 50% now of you guys who are watching this video aren't following us on YouTube. So if you're watching this video and you aren't subscribed, make sure to follow us because we post on a daily basis videos about Cardano. And if you don't subscribe, well, you will miss out on these, right? That would be very unfortunate. Um, so let's start with a brief overview of Project Catalyst. So Project Catalyst is, you could say it's kind of like a Kickstarter, but for Cardano and for projects building on top of Cardano. And so anyone can create, like anyone can create a Kickstarter page and ask for funding to crowdfund their products. In this case, anyone can create a proposal on Project Catalyst, explain what they want to achieve, and request a certain amount of funding in order to achieve that goal. And so you could say it's kind of like a crowdfunding tool, but the thing is, the crowdfunding tool, the money comes from the treasury in this case. So that's a very important aspect, is that Project Scala's funding will eventually, I'm not sure it's actually right now the treasury which is spending money, but on the long term it will be the treasury which will be financing that. Which is also the reason why community members are able to make the decisions regarding how these funds are spent, because at the end of the day, it's kind of their money, right? It's like when you pay taxes, well, you elect the governments who will choose that for you. It's kind of like the same thing, but the main difference here is that you directly vote. Well, in our democracies, you vote for someone else who will vote for you. Now, why is funding necessary? And this is very important, because it's something which a lot of smart contract blockchains don't understand, and they essentially just build the perfect blockchain, right? With 10 million transactions per second, an incredibly decentralized network, highly secure, highly something, it's incredible. But they lack funding. And while they raise a ton of money through their funding rounds, they don't create funding opportunities for the people building on their platform. And that's something which is very, very, very problematic when you are building a platform, because you need to drive adoption. You don't need to, you shouldn't wait for adoption. You need to drive it. You need to go for it. And funding allows you to do that. Funding allows you to attract businesses. And funding is incredibly important because when you are an entrepreneur, funding allows you to diversify your risks, essentially. Instead of risking losing everything as an entrepreneur, you can now use the funding you got from someone else and use that funding in order to build your business. And that way you'll reduce the risks for you, which means that you are able to create opportunities which you wouldn't have done because of the risks initially before, without that funding. Now let's look at how Ethereum solved that problem. Ethereum did it in a kind of very different way, I guess. They're now doing it in a similar way, but before they did it in a very different way, and that different way is called the ICO era, right? In 2017, as you may know, Ethereum got incredibly popular for the ICOs. So ICOs, crowdfunding tool, you create a token, you sell it to speculators, and you immediately get funding which you can use to build up your project. And at that time, a lot of people saw the ICO era as something very bad, something, a lot of speculation, all that. And especially for Ethereum, actually. A lot of people saw it as something like, whoa, Ethereum is just now a crowdfunding tool, right? It's nothing more. Well, in reality, I think it's one of the, I guess, the master moves of Ethereum, because it allowed them to attract a ton of projects while funding these projects without Ethereum themselves spending a single dollar, right? They didn't spend a single thing, and all these projects got funded on top of their platform. And the reason why is because they made it so easy to raise funds on their platform through an ICO and to create a token that it was accessible to anyone. And so and that's really what happens. And that's really how Ethereum attracted all these projects, and why right now most of the crypto projects right now are building on top of Ethereum. It's the ICO era which explains that. And so Ethereum, they solved that problem initially through the ICO era. But now they've moved on because ICOs aren't that popular anymore, and they've moved on to a new solution, which is called Gitcoin. And Gitcoin is essentially it's a project building on top of Ethereum. It's actually a private company, if I'm not mistaken. And what they're doing is that every quarter or it's every couple of months, I guess. I'm not sure when it is. They organize a crowdfunding period where your donations to projects you want to support, and so it's donations, you don't get anything back, but the donations, the amount you donate to projects, to open source projects and that kind of stuff, is matched with a certain amount of money which is given by organizations building on top of Ethereum. Sometimes it's the Ethereum Foundation, sometimes it's projects like Balancer, private people, synthetics. So I think this round it was also Binance which supported that, if I'm not mistaken. So these private organizations support it because it's good for their image, and they also support the ecosystem that way. And for the users, it's motivating to donate because, well, that if you donate $1, it will be matched with $10 from that fund. So, and I've participated in multiple rounds of these Gitcoin funding rounds, and it's incredibly satisfying, I guess, to donate money, even if when you donate, you are kind of losing money. So it's kind of weird to say that's something satisfying, but because, well, when donating money is actually satisfying, but donating money when it's matched by even more money is very satisfying. So that's how Ethereum solved that problem. And in this case, I actually forgot to include a slide about Cardano. Sorry for that. But in regards with Cardano, in regards with Project Catalyst, the way they do it is that you essentially get to show essentially how much stake in the game you have, how much ADA you have, and based on how much stake in the game you have, you can vote. And the more stake in the game you have, so the more ADA you have, the more power you have in terms of votes. And that's how they do with Project Catalyst. And the reason why Project Catalyst is essential is because right now it's the only source of funding if you want to create a project on Cardano. And it's incredibly important. Like I said before, it's one of the core mistakes other projects make when they create smart contract blockchain, is that they don't have a source of funding. And I think what's great is that IOHK has figured that out. And regarding the other possible sources of funding, there is the DC fund, which I think is the fund which is right now funding the Project Catalyst rounds. There will be the Treasury, where anyone will be able to create a proposal and raise funds. There will be the C fund, which is IOHK's fund with other entities, which will also be investing in the ecosystem. And you will probably also have other sources of funding in the future. I'm nearly willing to bet my hands again that that in the near future you will see something like Gitcoin arriving on Cardano. It's just, in my opinion, a matter of time, because it's a working model. It works. It's satisfying as a user to donate money, and it's essential for the survival of the ecosystem, and actually for the sustainability. So to recap this video, which was actually, let me check, well, yeah, quite long actually, 10 minutes, pretty long, sorry for that. But to recap this video, what you need to remember is that IOHK has figured everything out. They understand that funding is essential, and Project Catalyst is, I think, the first step towards a system where the more ADA you have, the more stake in the game you have, the more power you have in the ecosystem, and the more your voice will be heard. And yeah, I think that's the first step, the big step towards Voltaire. So, if you like this video, as usual, please leave a like, please leave a comment, share it with all your friends, neighbors, family, lovers, and yeah, I guess leave a comment, and yeah, and by the way, don't forget to subscribe, and follow us on Twitter, as we post daily tweets about Cardano. See you soon. Bye.